everyone, and welcome to this video. So today we're gonna apply some basic knowledge in dealing with hardware components into performing a lab called Setup a Computer to get some hands-on experience with using and working with hardware components. So here is the prompt for this lab on CompTIA's test-out platforms computing fundamental A+ course. While performing the lab, I'm gonna refer to another document like this to see the explanation steps to perform the labs in case I make any mistakes. I'm doing something like that because I want to save time for this video. But if you guys are students who are performing this lab for the first time for a class, please make sure that you brainstorm some ideas and steps to perform the lab and actually perform the lab without any guidance explanation steps. To see doing something like that can help you see if you can perform this specific lab well or not. So so let's begin with the prompt first, and I'm gonna help you guys brainstorm ideas and steps to perform the lab. You are the IT administrator for a small corporate network. You just receive a new computer and you are setting it up in your office. Okay, so I believe that this lab can help you guys in order to deal with a situation where you just have a new computer and you need to set it up either for a workplace or school or for your home computing setup, you know. So in this lab, your task is to set up the computers as follows. Plug a power strip into the wall. So if you have no idea what is a power strip, it might look like this. Okay, so I believe that we need to use a power strip as a tool to connect all of the power cords or power cables into this power strip to get power for some hardware components, I think. Okay, next, plug the computer into the power strip. Okay, cool. So I think for this step, we should connect the power core cable from the back of a computer's case into the power strip to provide power to your computer in order to turn the computer on, I think. Okay, next, connect the following components to the computer. Uh, the keyboard, the mouse, the speakers. Okay, so for this lab, we're gonna deal with the keyboard, the mouse, the speakers. So I think that we should find the cables to connect the keyboards or the mouse or the speakers to the computer's case, and then another all the cables to connect these components into the power strip. I think based on experience, the mouse doesn't need the mouse and the keyboard doesn't need a power core or power cable to connect to the power strip. It just they just need the uh, the kind of cable called USB Type A to connect to the back of the computer's case through the USB port. So for the speaker, maybe we need a power core cable to connect between the speakers and the power strip, I think. Okay, next, add the following objects to the bench and connect them to the computer using the appropriate cables. Okay, add the monitor to the workbench and connect the monitor to the computer using the appropriate cables, like the cable to connect the monitor to the power strip and the cable to connect the monitor to the computer's case. And next is placing the printer into the workbench and then connect the printer to the computer's case using the appropriate cables and then connect the appropriate cable between the printer and the power strip, I think. I don't know if they want us to turn on the monitor and power on the printer or not, but I'll try to power them on in this lab to see what happens, you know. Okay, next, plug the following devices into the power strip, the monitor, the printer. Okay, cool. So in general, we know that we don't need to plug the speakers, I'm sorry, the cables from that connects between the speakers to the power strip, you know. We don't need that cable to connect to the power strip. Okay, next, connect the computer to the network port on the wall plate. So for this task, I think we're gonna use the Ethernet port, the Ethernet cable to connect between the computer's case to the network port on the wall plate, you know, like the Ethernet jack on the wall plate, I think. So the Ethernet cable might look like this. Mm, Okay, hopefully we can see that cable in this lab. Okay, That's all there are all the ideas that I can come up with to deal with this lab. Okay, next, use these tips to help you complete the lab. View the details of the cables and connectors to examine the shape and pin pattern for each connector. Okay, so we can view the details of cables and connectors to see if we can connect a specific cable or connectors to any hardware device, and we can analyze and examine the shape of those components. Okay, next, match the cable connector to a computer port. Okay, I already talked about that. Zooming to the back of the computer device on the bench to get a closer look at the connection ports. Okay, next, match connector colors to the color of ports on the computer. Match the connector colors to the color of ports on the computer to identify possible matches. Okay, as I remember, if you try to attract some kind of hardware components to a specific port, you can see a blue color highlight uh, around a specific port on the computer. But that doesn't mean that you can actually connect every device into that port. When you have connected all devices, click the power button on the front of the computer and monitor to verify that the system can start without errors. So in general, after we finish all of the tasks, we're gonna power the computer on and turn on the monitor to see if we can do something with the computer. Okay, next, if you notice any problems, reject all connections. Okay, cool. So let's begin with the lab. Start lab. Let's see if I can perform this lab well or not. Please notice that I don't actually remember the steps to perform this lab. It's been a long time. Okay, let's begin here. You can see the computer's case here. You can see parts of connections here, like the power supplies with a lot of cables here. In this lab, we don't need to care with the power supply, so we're just gonna focus on computer's case and all of the hardware components on the cells here. Okay, we see the wall outlets here with some Ethernet jack here and power outlet here. Okay, so for the first task, now we need to plug a power strip into the wall. So I'm gonna find the power strip on the cell. And I'm gonna drag the power strip to the workspace here. I think. Okay, see power. Okay, let's see outlets. Okay, power strip here. Gonna drag this power strip to the workspace here. As you can see, I can zoom in and zoom out to have a closer look at each hardware component. So here I can actually turn, or I don't have the ability to turn this power strip on and off. But in real life, you need to turn the power strip on or off to have the power. So for this power strip, we have a color cable here for AC power connector male. This is unconnected, so I'm gonna connect it to the wall outlet here. Okay, it's done. So we're already done with the first task. So the next task is plug the computer into the power strip. Okay, right. In order to plug the computer into the power strip, I need to find the cable that connect to the that connect between the computer's case, and it's gonna show me another connector ends too. So now I'm gonna switch to the back view of the computer case. This computer's case. So here you can see some type of connection port here, and then here you can see the place to connect the power supplies to the power core cable. But now there's no cable here, so I'm gonna need to find a cable to connect to this port. Okay, AC power adapter. So based on those cables, I think I'm gonna use the AC power cable because it looks familiar somehow. Okay, for the AC power cable, I'm gonna show you some detail about this cable first to see if I should plug this cable into this port. So here, I believe this connector end will be connected to this port, and this connector ends will be connected to the power strip. So let's see this connector end, how this connector end looks like. Here you can see top view here, the front view here, the back view looks like this. Okay, front view. Okay, let's see how this connector end looks like. Okay, the top view looks like this. Front view looks like this. Okay, yeah, I was right. We should connect this connector ends to this port. The back view looks like this. Okay, let's try to plug this connector ends to this port. So when you can select some kind of hardware components, the selected component will show you some connector ends here with the overview with of the hardware component too, like this. Okay, let me drag this connector end to this port. Okay, cool. Next, I'm gonna drag this connector end to the power strip. I'm gonna connect to this port. Okay, cool. So for this power strip, uh, I can only see the front view. So in general, mm, I can actually turn on this power strip, but hopefully it worked well, like it already turned on. So that we can have power to the computer's keys. I'm sorry, so that we have power supply to the computer's case. Next, connect the following components to the computer: keyboard, mouse, speakers. Okay, I'm gonna find the keyboard, mouse, and speaker. Oh wait, okay. So the keyboard and mouse are like input devices, right? So I'm gonna drop down this section. Okay, here we can see the keyboard and mouse. I'm gonna show you guys the details of the keyboard here. So we can only see the top view. Uh, okay, so of the connector of this keyboard looks like this, and we can see the front view, back view, and the top view. So this is called the USB Type A, and we need to connect that connector into the USB port like these two. So now I'm gonna drag this keyboard into the workspace. Mm, I'm gonna drag it to this position. Okay, here you can see um, the keyboard is here in the workspace. Okay, here you can see USB Type A connector here. I'm gonna drag this connector into the USB port. Done. Okay, now is the mouse. I'm gonna show you the detail about the mouse. Okay, here we can see the top view here, the connector here, top view, front view, back view. Okay, now I'm gonna drag this mouse to the workspace. I'm gonna drag this to this position. Okay, done. Okay, here you can see another USB Type A connector for the mouse, and it should be connected to the USB port. I'm gonna connect it to this position. Done. Okay, now it's the speakers. Gonna drop down the speaker section on the cell here. Here you can see the speakers looks like this. I'm gonna show you the details here. Okay, cool. I never used this speaker in real life, but it looks cool. Here you can see the connector ends here. Looks like this. Okay, this is the top view. The front view looks like this. The back view looks like this. And here you can also see the specifications, like the detail about these speakers. So this is called speakers 2.0 analog input, 3 watts total RMS 100 hertz to 20 kilohertz frequency response headphone port. Okay, cool. We are not a professional in dealing with speakers, but those information looks cool. Okay, I'm gonna drag this speaker into the workspace here. Okay, very cool. So here you can see the connector here for TRS connector, and we're gonna connect this connector into the back of the computer's case. And so for this connector, I'm gonna plug it to the green port here. because I think that port is gonna be for the speakers, based on experience. Maybe you have no idea where to plug it in. You can try to connect to any of these circle port to see if it works or not. I'm not gonna force you to do everything like the way I do. Okay, next, add the following objects to the bench and connect them to the computer using the appropriate cables, the monitor and printer. Okay, I'm gonna drag the computers and the monitor to the workspace. Okay, there you go. The monitor and the printer looks like this. Okay, first I'm gonna show you the detail about the monitor first. This is the overview. This is the front it looks like. This is how the back looks like. This is the port to connect this monitor to the power strip, I think. And we need a specific cable, power cable for that. And here is the HDMI cable. Okay, next, the inkjet printer USB 2015. I'm gonna charge this to the workspace. Okay, let's see where should I place this inkjet printer. Okay, there you go. So this printer looks like this. The front view looks like this. The back view looks like this. Here you can see some port here. Okay, cool. Let's see the detail about this printer first. So here is the front view and the back and the back view. And here is the specifications like printer inkjet USB 2.0 up to 30 ppm. I think this is black and white, up to 28 ppm color, 4800 S 4800 DPI. So by now I have no idea what is ppm and DPI, but I think we're gonna learn about it in the future in the lesson about the printer, I think. So for this lab, we don't actually need to care about those information here. Um, so so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find the cable to connect the monitor to the computer's case and connect uh and the cables to connect between the printer with the computer's case. Okay, here some cable. So for this lab, we don't actually see the HDMI cable, but another way to connect the monitor to the computer's case is through other cables like this DVI-D to DVI-D cable, single link. The way I remember this information is because after you view the back of your after you examine the back of a computer's monitors, you can see some port that looks like this. And in order to know what kind of cable that you should use, you can try to compare the detail of each specific cable to see if a specific connector ends can be connected to a specific port like this. That's how you can remember information in a long time. You don't actually need to remember the color name of a specific cable to connect to a specific port like this. Sometimes just by learning how the connector ends looks like, and you will know how it should how or where you should connect to a specific port. So the back view of this connector end looks like this. The front end looks like this. So here, by looking at this view, I know that I should plug this connector ends to this port. Okay, this is the back view of this connector end. Okay, the other connector end looks the same. Okay, cool. Gonna connect this connector end to this port. Yeah, cool. And now I'm gonna connect this connector end to the back of the computer's case. Okay, the computer's case here. Okay, let's see. Yeah, cool. So we already connect the monitor to the computer's case. So the next thing is provide the power to the monitor. So I think this is the color cable to connect to the monitors and uh, and the power strip. So I'm gonna see if I was right or not. I'm gonna connect this connector end to this port. Okay, done. Cool. And this connector end to this port. Okay, cool. Okay, next we're gonna find the cable to connect to the uh, printer. So when you look at a printer like this, let's say here are some uh, ports to connect to cable because the information on the cell just show us like three cables like this, and each cable is just one cable. Like you can see the word, you can see the label like S1 here, which means there's only one USB cable AB here, and there's only one power adapter for HVAC to DC 12 volt here, and there's only one Cat6 cable RJ45 here. So because um, there's there's no enough cable to plug into these four ports, so we're gonna assume that we don't actually need to care about this cable to connect to these four ports. So so by now we need to care about uh, the port like this and like this. And let's see if there's some connector end on a specific cable that can connect it to this port. Okay, so based on the cable on this cell, I'm gonna see if I can choose this USB cable here. Um, so I'm gonna see the detail of this USB Type B to see if this connector can connect to this port. So the top view looks like this, front view looks like this. Okay, yeah. So we're gonna connect this connector ends to this port. Back view looks like this. Okay, I'm gonna connect this connector ends to this port here. Next, we also have USB Type A here. So I believe the top view here, back view here, the front view here. So I believe that I should connect this USB Type A connector and to the back of the computer's case. Okay, let's see if I can do it. Okay, so I'm gonna connect this connector to this position. You know what? I'm I'm gonna try this position to have a closer look with the other two Type A connectors like this. So okay. So next thing is the power cable for the printer to connect the printer to the power strip. So here I know that the Cat6A cable RJ45 is an Ethernet cable. So I'm not gonna use this cable here. So I'm gonna use this cable. So this cable looks like this, and based on this image, I know that I should connect this connector end to this port right here, and this connector end to the power strip. Here is the top view of this connector end. The front view looks like this. Yeah, I was right. We should connect this connector end to this port. The back view looks like this. Okay, now the connector end looks like this. Front view looks like this. Back view looks like this. Okay, so now I'm gonna connect this connector ends power adapter DC HP printer. This should be connected to this port, and and this connector end should be connected to this port on the power strip. Okay, so on the next task, so I think that we also completed this task too because it just asked us to upload the mother printer to the power strip by specific cable. We already done that. So let's focus on the next task, connect the computer to the network port on the workplace. So because it asked us to do some information with the network port. So we know that we should use the network cable or Ethernet cable. So in this case, I'm going to use the Cat6a cable RJ45 to connect to the back of the computer's case. So here is the Ethernet jack. So first, I'm going to show you the detail about this cable. So the overview looks like this. The top of this connector end looks like this. The front view looks like this. The back view looks like this. Okay, now the connector jack looks the same. Okay, I'm going to connect this connector ends to this Ethernet jack. Okay, cool. And another end to the Ethernet jack on the power outlet. I'm sorry, on the wall outlet. Okay, here it should be right. Okay, cool. Done. Okay, I believe that we already finished all the tasks, and the the final task to do is to just turn on the computer and turn on the monitor and see if this computer already have a network connection. So I'm gonna switch to the front of this monitor, and I'm gonna switch to the front view of the computer's case. Okay, now I'm gonna turn on the computer. The computer is now on, but the monitor is now showing output from the computer. So I'm gonna need to turn on the monitor. So on this monitor, I need to find the power button to turn it on. So let's see where is the power button. Okay, here. Let's turn it on to see what happened. Okay, cool. Computer is turned on now, so now I can view the Windows 11 desktop here. So here, let's see if this computer is already connected to the internet. Okay, here you can see CodeNet.local internet access here, which means that this computer is already connected to the internet. So this means we already completed all the tasks correctly and properly. So let's click Score Lab to see how well I actually how well I perform on this lab. Okay, submit for a score. Okay, score done. Okay, you can see 100%, which means I already completed all the tasks properly. And it took me 35 minutes and 24 seconds to complete this lab. And that includes the time that I that I was speaking to you guys, and also the times that I performed the lab. Yeah, we already completed all the lab tasks here, and here are the explanation steps. So that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching my video. Please remember that after you finish the labs, please ask yourself some questions to help you remember all of the tasks from the labs, like what devices should be connected to computers in order to power it on, and what kind of cables should you use to connect between the monitors and the computer's case, or between the mouse and the computer's case, between the printers to the computer's case, and what kind of cables should be connected to the power strips, and how should you know if a computer is already connected to the internet, and what kind of cables should you plug into your computer's case to have internet access, and how the network jack the or how the internet jack looks like. So that's it for the video. Thank you guys for watching my video. Thank you guys for watching my video, and please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification